until I know I will. Yeah, I will go with you until you stop yourself.
Ladies and gents, today you've all been invited here as Ash and Luke's nearest and dearest to partake in the moment that they affirm their love and commit to one another for the rest of their lives. So please sit back, relax and enjoy the ceremony. In saying that, though, it does not mean you are here to simply bear witness to the moment. We are trying to set the mood for the festivities to follow here later this evening, so please do feel free to cheer, laugh, clap or cry at any stage throughout the ceremony. After all, you are about to get a few free drinks and a delicious meal, so that should be reason enough to cheer already. There we go. Now, these two don't really love being the centre of attention, at least while they're sober, and they are pretty keen to join you all and get these said celebrations underway, so I promise I won't be taking up too much more of your time. My name is Sam Capewell and I've been lucky enough to be invited here by the lovely couple to help officiate today's proceedings. And at this time I would like to let you all know that I am duly authorised by law to solemnise marriages in Australia according to law. I know I don't look like it, but you're going to have to take my word for it, I am legit. Now, before you two are joined in marriage in my presence, in the presence of your wonderful family and friends, I'm to remind you of the solemn and binding nature of the relationship into which you are now about to enter. Marriage, according to law in Australia, is the union of two people to the exclusion of all others, voluntarily entered into for life. No one's doing a runner, so we can keep going. But before we do rush off and get into the nitty-gritty of the proceedings here today, firstly, I'd like to take a little time to have a look back over the history of these guys so far and go over just how and why we've ended up here at the end of the aisle in front of you all today. So the story of these two starts off in the super romantic surrounds of the Bowen Ambulance Station. Ash was 5 months into her posting there and was made aware that the local firefighters were coming in for morning tea and some training. Thinking she had seen everything that the Bowen Fire Brigade had to offer, Ash didn't get too excited, but upon their arrival, there was a new face among them that caught her eye. In case you didn't guess it, yes, that was Luke. He was working a 4-day rotation in Bowen and already had high hopes of maybe encountering a cute ambo on their visit after spotting Ash's car outside the station. They kept it professional throughout the training and there was definitely no subtle flirting or prolonged eye contact across the room at the morning tea, but as soon as they were on their own time, they headed straight to good old Facebook trying to track one another down. They did, but something about Luke's profile pic gave Ash reason to pause. I mean, I don't know why a photo of him holding a barramundi, sporting an epic Star Wars hat would do that, but it did. Luke, on the other hand, didn't even stop to look. He'd seen enough and immediately added Ash and sent her a message. After trying to play it cool, Ash replied to his message after seeing him in person again at the local cafe and reconfirming the massive crush she had already developed on him, and they set up a time and date for that very night. Unfortunately, Ash was on call and got a job 5 minutes before their date, forcing Luke to wait over an hour and a half, looking like he'd been stood up and with their food going cold. They did eventually get to share their date though, and even after the rocky start, it went so well that they both left there that night knowing that they had stumbled into something pretty special. Before long, they were catching up any chance they could, heading off on day trips, spending weekends camping, heading out on the town in Airlie or living it up at the Ville, and introducing one another to their closest family members, their dogs, as it was essential that their fur babies got along if this thing was going to work. Eventually, they came to realise their romance had now fast surpassed the just dating phase, so they made the decision to go ahead and make it all official. Over the years, they've gone on to create quite an amazing life together, full of memories and experiences that they will cherish for the rest of their lives. They've met and immersed themselves into one another's extended families and friendship circles. Ash eventually made the move to Ayr and in with Luke. They then proceeded to really test out their relationship when COVID forced them to live together for the first time in sporadic lockdowns. They made it through though, and even came out the other side ready to commit even further to one another, at least for the next 25 years or so, when they went out and purchased their first house, moving in and enjoying turning it into their very own home. They've also shared some amazing holidays together, both domestic and overseas, with many amazing camping trips, attending the Boxing Day test and their trip to Japan, just to name a few. And they've also enjoyed being there to celebrate family and friends' birthdays, engagements, weddings and children, which in turn got them thinking about what their future had in store for them. Unbeknownst to Ash, but Luke had already been thinking about that and had even gone as far as finding and purchasing the perfect required shiny thing and had came up with a plan. Ash had mentioned that she wanted to get some professional photos of them to have in their house, and Luke saw this as the perfect opportunity. He purchased a voucher for a local photographer, filling her in on his plans, and then just had to wait for Ash to book the shoot in. Apparently, Ash was in no hurry though. But eventually she did book it in, and her mind started running with the idea that maybe Luke would propose, but she pushed it to the back of her mind. On the day, Luke did his best to seem extremely disinterested, which only confirmed in Ash's mind that nothing was going to happen. Luke's plan worked to an absolute perfection after the photographer super slickly slipped him the ring out of her camera bag. It was finally time for him to shoot his shot. He got into position, took Ash by the hand, dirtied the knee and presented her with the ring. He asked the love of his life for her hand in marriage and patiently awaited her response. Ash, caught completely off guard, even shocked herself as the disbelieving no came from her mouth. But eventually she regained control of her face and gave Luke the answer that he was looking for, and they embraced as a recently engaged couple. To make the moment all the more special, following their photo shoot, Luke had organised for a bunch of family and friends to join them for dinner, so they were surrounded by their loved ones, ready to celebrate the good news. From there, the next steps were pretty simple: get married and live happily ever after. And so that's what has us all gathered here today. 4 years to the day since they've been dating, these two are now standing here in front of you, their nearest and dearest, more in love than ever before, and wishing now that I would hurry up and get to the part where they can get married. So that will be enough out of me for a while. It's now time to hand it over to the couple themselves so we can hear about this one-of-a-kind love story directly from the source as they take the vows that will officially make them husband and wife.
Ashley, you look so beautiful today. I don't know about you, but I'm so nervous. My palms are sweaty, knees are weak and arms are heavy. You probably wouldn't be surprised that I only wrote these vows 3 weeks ago. I was at our favourite coffee shop with our favourite dog, Aria, while you were down in Brisbane for your final dress fitting. I had to wear my sunny so the barista wouldn't see my eyes water. From the first time I met you, I knew this is exactly where I wanted to be. Standing in front of you before our friends and family, making you my wife. I bet you're excited to get home and tell our dogs that you have the same last name as them. I can remember our first date 4 years ago today, like it was yesterday. I will admit, I was nervous you wouldn't show up. This could be because I thought you were way out of my league, that you left me on red only a few days before, or the fact that you're over an hour late and the waitress kept asking if I was sure you were coming. Little did I know back then, by me having faith you'd show up, putting up with the sympathetic looks the waitress continued to give me, staring at my cold pizza and the cold pasta I ordered you, that me waiting it out would be the most important life-changing decision I've ever made. Until today, the moment I held closest to my heart was when I asked you to marry me. I'll never forget the way you looked at me that night. I'll also never forget how you immediately yelled no when I asked. That caught me off guard, but this memory is going to be hard to beat. Ashley, I will love you for the rest of my life. Support you, lift you up, and appreciate the little things. I promise to listen when you don't feel heard. I promise to see you when you don't feel seen. I promise to always say I love you before I walk out the door. And I promise to love you as much as Bowser loves cheese. You're my best friend, Ashley. I'm excited for what our future holds and to make more memories with you. Just know whatever happens, I'll always be there for you. Because starting now, we'll be able to face whatever life throws at us as husband and wife. Today, here in front of our friends and family, I, Luke Mulcahy, take you, Ashley Jenner, to be my lawful wedded wife. I love you.
Give it up. Put it on before she says no.
Oh, look at it. Okay. Luke, if only I knew that moving 12 hours away to a town I'd never heard of would be the best decision I ever made. That move led me to you. I knew this day would come, I knew this day would come when I left our first date on the 28th of July 2019. We spent our first date talking and laughing like we had known each other for years. Just like that first night, our love is easy. From dancing on the kitchen bench to singing songs to the dogs. Every day with you is a dream. I admire your passionate and dedicated work ethic. I love your outgoing, adventurous, and sometimes funny personality. But most of all, I love you for who you've made me. Over the last 4 years, you have been right beside me, full of encouragement and support as I've navigated through some of my toughest times. You've helped me grow into the best version of myself simply by loving me. You have given a new meaning to family. You have become my home, my strength, my confidence, and my laughter. I can't promise that every day will be easy, but I promise a life with me by your side. I vow to support, honour, and choose you today and every day that follows. I vow to show you unconditional love for the rest of our lives. Most importantly, I promise to never complain while fishing, to never laugh while golfing, to always check the gate is closed at night, and to always make sure it's open before I start reversing. Today, here in front of our family and friends, I, Ashley Jane Jenner, take you, Luke Joshua Mulcahy, to be my lawfully wedded husband. A chapter where I finally have the same last name as George, Bowser, and Aria. I know that one day you'll be the best dad to our own little Mulcahy's. As Pam Beasley once said about Jim Halpert, you grow up assuming your parents are soulmates, and my kids are going to be right about that.
Give it up. Now, I did say it wasn't a competition, but she won. Not so scary after all, right, guys? Okay, now will you two please give these people what they want to see and share your first kiss as husband and wife?
I can see the whole wide world with these two eyes, and I can be whoever I wanna be, 'cause it's my life.
Now, we've said the words, exchanged the rings, shared the kiss, and have signed the dotted line. So now, without further ado, it's time to get this party started. So please give it up for the new Mr. and Mrs. Mulcahy. clap, guys.